Welcome to the Fab Four Travel Talk podcast with Christy, Gina, Eric, and Kyle. Now, sit back and relax. Let's chat about some magical destinations. Hi, everybody. This is Gina, and I am your host this week. And we are back together for another edition of Fab Four Travel Talk, minus one comrade. I say comrade.
Put that seed in your head.
You did. We were just talking about, we'll get to it later.
don't go
We'll
into
tell the
that.
story later.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Had something to do with Russia. Anyway, but Christy is not with us tonight. She is not feeling well. So we,
A little under the weather.
hope she gets back up and running soon. Hope the rest of us are not down and out for the count.
Yeah, right.
Because we all seem to be inching that way. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
this tonight we're going to talk about the latest price increase that went on with the tickets, both at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. It kind of made me start thinking, okay, at what point does Disney begin to price itself out of the market? Like, are they on the verge of that? Because one of the milestones that happened with this ticket increase was over at Disneyland. It's now $200, a little above $200 for a one-day park hopper ticket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
they broke the ceiling.
they broke the ceiling, and people in California went bonkers, from what I understand. Over here, we haven't seen packages increase. What we've really seen is a jump in the annual passes. Those went up. So we're expecting that single-day tickets are imminent. That's going to be coming. But,
Yeah. And I mean, and for Disneyland, that's actually a really big deal because the majority of their attendance is, 1-2 day attendance.
Yeah.
It's not like Disney World where it's a, week-long event to go there. A lot of people only go to Disneyland, they drop in for, a day or two. So, upping it to the $200 price point, that's going to be very interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, that's
so. I'm guessing that the tickets for Disneyland are higher than Disney World for a couple of reasons. One, it's California prices, and two, because they're like everything's kind of smushed into two parks. What we have is 4 parks at Walt Disney World. They have obviously not as many attractions as in all 4 of our theme parks, but a lot of them.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So I would wonder, are you getting more bang for your buck at Disneyland? And
I mean, you can do more in a shorter period of time.
Yeah.
Is really what it comes down to.
Okay.
Having been out there, and it's the rides and stuff, it's the same amount of rides, or I think Disneyland might actually have more.
Okay.
But they're just, it's crammed into a smaller area. Like you said, it's only 2 parks, and they're probably about 100 yards away from each other, which is really nice. You can be at the back of one park and walk your way all the way to the back of the other one, and do it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I think, part of what you said makes sense. It's some of it's California pricing.
Right.
Right. What can the California market hold? But I really do think it does come down to the fact the majority of their visitors are 1 and 2 day visitors.
Yeah.
So
that
that's,
sense.
They're taking the opportunity to try to cash in on it.
Yeah.
Which, all right, that is what it is. You know what your market is.
Right. Well, they're also anticipating the numbers increasing, I guess, for the Marvel area that's going to be opening up soon.
Right.
I think sometime in 2020. So I don't really know that they saw the numbers that they expected for Galaxy's Edge when it initially opened. I think it was lacking a little bit. And I think that's purely because they didn't open both rides. I don't think that has anything to do with the success or non-success of Star Wars. I just think it's the fact that both rides weren't open. So people kind of waiting, and then that kind of shifts that massive rush to be a little bit more disseminated across months and spreads it out.
And I think we've seen over the last, since Rise of the Resistance opened, I think we've seen, a pretty strong crowd base, showing up, and we've seen the wait times are pretty long across the board. So
I saw
I'm
something
sure
crazy.
Yep.
Yesterday, I saw a 2.5 hour wait time to get into the marketplace area of Galaxy's Edge in Batu. What's the name of it?
Just into the marketplace? They
Yeah,
had it like all blocked off, so you had to come back at a certain time?
Was this at Disney World or Disneyland?
I think it was Disneyland, I think.
Huh.
But what's the name of that area?
Marketplace.
I forget. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it wasn't for one of the rides. That's what it was for.
Wow.
So I was like, man, that's crazy. So, and I mean, it's hard to tell. For some reason, I was thinking it's Disneyland, but you see pictures and they look the same. So
they're identical.
Yeah. Right.
Could Disney have released like the child plush toy or something? I don't know.
Maybe there was something in the parks. I think we would have heard of that today.
Yeah,
though.
we would have heard that, right?
You'd have heard the shouting from there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I hadn't heard that. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
So
sorry.
what are we looking at for? What are we looking at for numbers in Walt Disney World though, as far as the price changes?
We only saw increases right now in all the annual pass holders except for Florida. They did not raise any of the ticket prices for Florida residents. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But it's
probably a price sensitive market though.
Could be.
I imagine is, and I think they've had some increases and some changes to those tickets over the last few years.
Now,
so
Walt
they're
Disney
probably trying to
World,
not disrupt that market too much.
Yeah, because we saw a huge jump last year. We saw a 20% jump in ticket prices last year. So this year so far in the along with the annual pass hold, it's been varying somewhere between 5% to 15% depending on which one you're looking at.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you were doing the Premier Plus, which gets you in Walt Disney World and Disneyland, that one had the biggest hike increase, which was 15% increase. And there again, I think part of it is the whole California absorbing that cost, the ticket cost increase there.
Yeah, and I think that's an absolute specialty ticket. I can't imagine that there's, more than a few thousand people who actually have those. Right. I got to think that number is pretty low. Yeah. I know we had them at one point. We did do it once because I knew we were going to both. And I don't remember if I had it or if Christy had it or if we both did.
I know Christy
one of
had
us
it.
did.
I don't know. Yeah, I knew she had it because she actually went a couple of times to Disneyland.
Yeah.
I think she got the regular one and then upgraded it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I think that
was a crazy year.
That was a crazy year. I think that was like when she was gone the whole month of October. She went to Disneyland.
That was the Hawaii Disneyland.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. That was the year we had annual passes too. Right?
Yeah, that was a crazy year for all of us. So you got some information about what the average household income is, right?
So I did. I just did a quick search online, and in the U.S., the average household income is almost $90,000 a year, right? Yeah. It's just a tick under that. It's like $89,900. The median is significantly lower than that. The median is like 63. Yeah, 63,000. But that's what you expect.
Right.
There's more lows than there are significant highs, right? So that's why the median gets offset the way that it does.
Yeah.
But again, your average is around $90,000 a year.
I was surprised at that for some reason.
That number was higher than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I know in the Northeast here, everything's super expensive.
Right.
But my understanding is, as you get more towards the Midwest and even, you go down south a little bit, those numbers come down significantly. You guys have talked about it, how our food prices are so expensive up here compared to what you guys have when you go to eat. So, but yeah, that's average. So, and the reason we were going to talk about that was because we were curious how, those prices really impact, impact travel.
Yeah.
How's that going to impact travel? How's it going to affect the average person? So you had done some research actually about, what the average family spends on, vacations in a year, right?
Yeah. So this is coming from Forbes magazine. So I feel like that's pretty reputable place to get some information.
It's a good spot.
They said that the average family, the average person spends $1,200 on vacation. So that being a family of 4 would spend about $4,800
Okay.
on vacation.
Okay.
So let's take a look at some numbers. We've got some numbers for some quotes for Walt
Yeah.
Disney World, right?
Yeah. So, I had asked, Christy actually pulled us some numbers earlier in the week. And I had just thrown out some guidelines to her. I was like, hey, give me something, over the summer, family of 4, 2 kids, 8 and 10.
10 being an adult.
10's
If
an
you're
adult ticket at that point, right?
Adult ticket to that point. 8, you're still in the child range.
Right.
So I think they technically call that a junior.
And what she ended up pulling dates for was August 16th to the 23rd.
God.
And yeah, when it's super hot there.
Super hot and nobody
Yeah.
wants to be there. Okay.
But what she did also too is, these numbers are without any kind of, discounts or anything like that going on. This is just flat rack rate numbers, just to see, what they would be.
And I think that's a great place to start anytime you're beginning to plan a trip. This is kind of off topic, but go pull some numbers, what an average week or 4 days or however long you're planning on spending looks like. So you kind of get a general idea of how much you should be saving for that vacation.
Yep.
Or,
And with the way Disney World's set up right now, although there's technically only 3 levels, we have value, moderate, and deluxe.
Right.
Really, with the addition of the Riviera Resort, we have kind of another level on top of deluxe. It's kind of like a deluxe plus. Even though they haven't broken it out, the pricing is actually, it's higher within a few $100s.
Yeah.
So she actually pulled 4 different quotes. The quote basically gets you 5-day park tickets, dining plan, your Magical Express that would be tied in, and then your room at 4 different resorts.
So you kind of got the whole package there.
Yeah.
You're obviously going to need your spending money for souvenirs, for gratuities at the restaurants, maybe a breakfast or lunch, depending on how you use your credits and stuff. But that's a good, that's your vacation.
And potentially the only other thing would be flights, depending where you're coming from. You're driving in, you're flying in. If you're driving in, you got to pay for parking. If you're flying in, you got to pay for the airplane. So,
right.
Parking. I mean, just sneak it in again. I snuck one in.
I know you did. Yeah.
So where do we want to start? We want to start at the top?
Yeah, let's start at the top.
All
yeah,
right.
Let's start at the top.
So she pulled numbers for the Riviera Resort, the brand new, very nice resort that just opened, again with all those numbers that I just mentioned, and that comes in at $5,606.
Okay.
So you were saying, the average person spends $4,800. The average family, 4 would spend around $48.
Right.
So you're coming in, about $800 above that.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is not surprisingly not that bad.
As I thought. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guarantee Disney knows those numbers too, right?
Oh,
Disney knows exactly what the average family's spending, how that's going to work out, and where their things fall into the mix.
My question is, what are we doing wrong? I don't understand.
What do you mean?
What are we doing wrong?
Your average expenditure, is that what you mean?
Yeah, something's wrong here.
Well, because
somebody's taking another trip and I'm not invited.
Right. You're a Disney high affinity customers.
Right.
So that's where your whole thing comes in.
Park hoppers, which we would do park hoppers.
Right. So that price goes up a little bit.
Right. And this is for what?
What else? What else are going there? This is 5 days.
Right. We normally go for 7.
Right.
Gotcha.
Deluxe dining versus regular dining.
Right. That's a big increase.
Right. There's a big increase there.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things you can adjust these up pretty quickly if you want to add additional things to it. The nice thing about the Riviera quote is it's actually in a deluxe view room. You know the reality, Kyle. You know what's going on.
I'm playing the dumb guy.
I know. Yeah. So that's a deluxe view room as well.
Yeah.
For all these years?
Yeah.
Hey. So not that far out of the realm. Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're maybe if you're able to save up for your $4,800 trip, this is really maybe another month or 2 of savings. Maybe 3 on the outside.
Yeah.
depending how long it's taken you to get to that point. But
Mhm.
um,
Hit up grandma.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
exactly, it's Christmas money, right?
Right.
No, I don't need another pair of socks, but I'll take the money instead.
Yeah. I'll take a Disney gift card, please.
So the next one down from that Christy pulled was Polynesian Village Resort.
Okay.
Uh,
And
with
by
a s-
down,
It's really not down.
it's really
right?
not
It's
down.
deluxe.
It's still
The-
a deluxe.
It's still a deluxe. This is a standard view,
Okay.
so it's not a theme park view or fireworks view or actually
Right.
does Polynesian have a theme
It does.
park
Mhm.
view?
Yep,
Okay.
it does. We
Okay.
had one time.
Oh,
We
excellent.
got upgraded. Yeah, that was
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, it's nice when that
But-
happens.
Yeah, exactly.
So the numbers for that, again, everything else being the same, 5,400.
Okay.
So about a $200 difference.
I'd have a hard time with that one. Would I pay $200 more to stay at Riviera?
Obviously, here again, what are we doing wrong?
Well, for one thing, we've got two children that are above.
You've got
10.
two adults now
Two
at this
adults
point.
now. Yeah.
right?
So we can't make them regress down to 8.
Right. Yeah.
And
No
that's-
way of getting them in at 8 at
being
this
Jerry
point.
Lewis here. You're supposed to be Dean Martin.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do I say?
Well, not in that sense, although you're doing a good job. Anyway,
It's water.
So if we move, it's actually water tonight,
Yep.
as far as everybody else knows.
Exactly. Tonic water.
Tonic water. What's stuff in it?
With
It's
a little
fine.
gin splash in there.
vitamins.
Everybody likes juniper berry. Anyway,
All right. So moving on to the moderates.
moderates, yeah.
Christy pulled one for her favorite, which is the Port Orleans French Quarter.
Yep. We
Now,
agree on that.
see, now we get under the average, and we go to 4,100.
Oh,
Wow.
so see, now you've got built-in spending money there.
Mhm.
Right.
If you
Yep.
know,
You're
that's-
basically already ahead of the game at that point.
And that's
Right.
a nice resort too.
it is.
I love
It
that
is. Yeah,
resort.
we've stayed there a
Still
bunch of
inside.
times.
Yeah, it's a small resort, so it's not overwhelming.
Good food.
You're inside the bubble. It's got great food at that resort. You're on property, so you've got all the transportation and extra
Yeah.
magic hours and all that kind of stuff for inside what a normal, well, under what the average family would pay for vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then rounding out the last one, Pop Century standard view room, basically 3,700.
Okay.
Right. So about $300 less than Port Orleans. Honestly, I'm going to Port Orleans at that point.
Right. I'm
Right,
going to
that's-
Port Orleans
that's
for
a-
queen size beds.
Yep.
And thicker walls and slightly nicer towels
And staying for a month.
a month. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, so those are the numbers. Just as it is. Like I said, rack rate numbers.
Yeah. Rack rate
and
numbers. Those are no.
with
But-
the latest price increases, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
and
I
the
took that
nice
number.
part is it's got your food and everything else in there. So
Right. I took the big number, the Ravinia or
Riviera.
where
Yep.
Ravinia come from,
Ravinia.
and divided it out. And so you're looking at $739 a day
Mhm.
that your family is paying for their vacation. But if you figure that's your resort, and that's at a Kickin' resort, it's got some fun
Oh, yeah.
stuff there. It's got a great location. It's on the Skyliner. That includes entertainment all day long. I mean, you're not having to shell out. That's one of the things that I think people don't understand about Disney is when you go, yes, that ticket price is expensive, but once you're there,
Yeah.
you can ride whatever you want to ride. You get fast passes
Mhm.
and included in it. And so you're not paying for a cheap ticket, but then when they get you there, oh, you don't want to stand in a 2-hour line. Well, you need to pay an extra $350 to do that.
Right.
Disney doesn't play that game. You get it all up front. Everybody gets the ability to book fast passes. You use those 3, you get to book more.
Well, and,
Mhm.
the
You know?
and then the prices we were talking about just now, that's staying in the bubble too,
Right.
which means that you don't have to deal with traffic driving through Orlando because once you're in the bubble, you're in the bubble.
Right.
Yeah, and it's nice and
Station is-
relaxing, and you get to just enjoy all of that and not be disturbed by anything else that's going on outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it includes food. And we're not talking just crappy hamburger and hot dog food. Walt Disney
Not by
World
long
or
shot.
both parks.
If you want
Disney in
that, you
general,
can get it. But
and on all their properties have stepped up their food game
way
tremendously.
big time.
Yep.
So you can eat at some phenomenal places, better than you would at home,
Hmm.
kind of places for sure. So
Yeah,
I mean,
and the nice part is even on single credit,
yeah,
single credit
exactly.
restaurants are still very, very good.
Very
The double credit restaurants and the signature dining and that stuff, that's a
Mhm.
whole nother level, and that can be pretty amazing too.
Right.
Mhm.
But you don't have to do that, right?
No.
It's not like you're being forced into it. That's a choice that you'd be making at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So, I mean, if I take a look at all of that, I still feel like it's a sucker punch when you first get a quote for Walt Disney World if you have no clue as to what you're looking for.
right.
But I can't get a family really at an all-inclusive
Hmm.
for under that amount of money. I can get you somewhere. Is it where you want to be?
Right.
Yeah, we can get you
probably
somewhere.
not.
Exactly. We can get you somewhere really cheap in Orlando too. But like
But
this
yeah,
one, I'll always remember this one client.
no
She
room
had
should come with a flak vest.
Right? Oh my gosh. I had a poor single mom that was wanting to take her kid to Walt Disney World, and she had found this hotel on great deal on hotels.com. And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, let's go look at actual pictures of that. And it was scary. I mean, that was a
Right.
scary hotel. She goes, oh my God, I would have died if I would have driven up to that.
Right.
And we were
You may
able-
have.
Right? Exactly. That's what it felt like.
When
And
the
we were
online
able
pictures
to-
have a chalk outline in them, you know you shouldn't stay there.
Beware.
And we were
Right.
able to get them in a room inside the bubble at one of the all-star resorts at a very reasonable, not much more than what she was going to stay at the Murder Hotel. So,
Right.
The Bates.
right. But like I was saying,
Bates
for
Motel. How's that
all-inclusive,
place? Well, I wouldn't.
if you take a look at an all-inclusive or even a cruise, because I know Christy loves her cruises,
Yep.
and look at what the extras are that you have to pay for once you get there to do things. Like you can go to an all-inclusive resort, but if you actually want to go out on a catamaran or, go for a dive or go off site to a snorkeling location or visit some ruins or something, that all costs you extra money,
Right.
Oh, you wanted top shelf liquor. Well, sure. You can pay a little extra if you want that. Or you have to, tip there's some all-inclusives that don't do that game, sandals and beaches, but the vast majority of them you still do. So you really have to look at your vacations and add up all those little extras. And Disney still, I think, comes out at a fair deal.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree, especially after looking at the numbers.
Yeah,
it's a value proposition.
It totally
is. When you
is.
do all the math, it's a good value.
I think so.
Overall,
I think you're entertained all day long for those tickets.
Yep.
You're not having to buy multiple ones. Even
think,
if you don't want to do the park hopper, you just want to spend one day in a resort.
Right.
One day in the park.
I was actually bummed out. The one thing I wanted to do, because I knew we were going to talk about all this stuff, I wanted to look back at what the opening day ticket price was.
Oh, yeah.
And what the opening day, what the opening day household income was. I wanted to do a comparison there. So I may still do that. I'll post it. Oh, excuse me. Bit my lip. I'll post it online to our Facebook page.
Do that.
If I do actually have the ability to pull up those numbers. I'm sure they're somewhere online. So I'm going to take a look at that because I thought that would be really interesting because that's one of the things a lot of people say, oh, it's gotten so expensive. It's gotten so expensive. I'm like, well, how expensive has it been from the beginning?
Yeah.
Because I bet if you could actually find numbers for, staying at the Contemporary Resort the day that it opened and ran the same type of numbers for back then, how much more expensive would it have been on the average compared to what they are today? Is it comparable?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and if you accounting for inflation and stuff.
Right. This conversation happens every year. I'm sure we've had it before on the podcast. the ticket prices and hotel prices and everything, they increase every year.
Oh yeah, it's an
Right.
annual event. This is a ritual.
This is just what it is, and you get customized. You get used to it, right?
Right.
Yep.
The thing that I was thinking with it though, and when I mentioned to our daughter Allie, that we were going to be doing this episode, she said, it's funny because people don't complain that Gucci charges as much as they do for their bags.
Right.
Or pick, 100 other companies out there.
Yep.
But because Disney is so popular, and those things are popular, but they're very, very niche markets, right? The people that have them, it's a very niche market. So people don't complain that they charge $1,000, $2,000, $10,000 for a bag. They don't care because they're never going to have one, right? For real, most likely. But with the vacation thing, people always see that Disney markets it to the masses. And in reality, there are times and there are parts of Disney that are a, luxury brand. And there are times when it's not. And it's parts of it's not. And you can, occasionally get deals on things, when they do release a new package and stuff like that.
Right.
So there's options there. It's not always a luxury brand. You can make it one if you want, as Kyle pointed out, multiple times already.
Yeah.
The way we do it is not the same way everybody does it.
No.
Yeah.
Or not the way that some people don't care to do it the way that we do it. They want to stay in the parks, sun up, sun down. And if that's what you're going to do, then why would you pay an exorbitant amount of money for a resort that you're not ever going to be in?
It's literally just a bed that you're going to sleep in, and then you're going to go and do your thing the next day. Good on you. Go ahead, do that.
Right. That's just not how we.
And there's other people that want to do a shorter weekend, right? They want to do do one long weekend, do 3 days instead of 5, or 7 or however long, we end up doing things. You can customize that vacation to you, but I think people get so upset about it is because it's that like, oh, well, they're pricing me out of the thing now because they just hear the price increase, and they don't actually know the numbers all the time. But I mean, let's be fair. We're talking average families too, right? Average family income. There's as many people below that as there is above that.
Right.
So, those numbers don't work out for everybody.
Yep.
No.
But again, you're also not going to run out and buy a Gucci bag, and you're not going to buy a thing. And so maybe you focus on doing a different type of vacation, and maybe that works better for you.
And I agree with Allie in the fact that there are parts of Disney that can absolutely be almost like a luxury brand. One of those, like a Gucci or a Chanel. If you want to do the whole
club
level with a VIP tour guide and all that stuff, that's fine. Hey, good for you that you can, afford that. But I think Disney is one of the few companies that gives that high affinity, high, the person that wants that luxury brand a vacation, and then a person like my single mom that was, scraping her pennies together for her and her daughter to go, you know what? They had the same vacation.
Yeah. When they're in the park.
At the end of the day,
at the end of the day, they had the same vacation. Where she laid her head at night was really a pillow, just like the other people had a pillow. Maybe they didn't have to stand in line as long as she did for some things, but
they rode the same rides.
They rode the same rides. And that's one of the things that I love about Disney is because no matter who you are, you have the ability to have a fantastic. If you're an Eeyore and you walk around looking for negative, well, guess what? You're going to find that. You're going to find that wherever you go.
You're going to find it at Walmart and the mall and everywhere else you go to. So
exactly.
It's not going to be just your vacation.
Right. But I think that, it's still a great value. It's still something that most people, they hear that one-day ticket price of, oh my gosh, it's over $100 to go to the Magic Kingdom in one day. Well, yeah, but you really can't do it in one day, and Disney knows that.
And you're actually not going for a day, so.
Right. So you're not paying that amount.
Right.
In Disney's, they're going to charge you a lot for that one day, but they really want you to do more because they know it's a product that needs more days.
And to paraphrase Steve Jobs, if you don't like it, don't go.
Don't go. Yeah,
Don't pay for it.
that's right.
You know,
It's not,
it's an
and,
option.
and it's true. I
Right.
do get.
Tell Disney. That'll
do
give
hear
them the signal
people
loud and clear.
when they say things about, oh, Disney's prices, so the average,
Okay.
American can't take their kid to Disney. And I'm like, well, it's not your God-given right that when you're born, you're going to get to go see Mickey Mouse. I
Exactly.
mean,
Well, again, and that's
That's
where
not
it
one of
becomes.
your-
There's a bit of a branding thing there, right? Because
Right.
they market to everybody. Everybody, you get into that realm of people that believe that, well, it should be no more than going to your local theme park, your local amusement park, right? And that's not always the case.
Yeah,
No.
that's
There's
their
there's
problem.
more that goes into it than that. So
Yeah.
well, going to my local theme park is not that much cheaper than
right,
going
and it's
there.
not nearly as much fun.
Yeah, I don't want to go to my local thing.
Exactly.
No.
I'm kind of scared of it, to be honest with you.
Like, I'll wait. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. Exactly.
I think we covered all that stuff though on the price
We did,
increases
too.
and stuff. So
Yeah, I think
It
so.
is
too.
what it is.
Right?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I mean,
though.
like I said, honestly though, if the market doesn't accept the price increase,
Mhm.
the market will let Disney know. And Disney
Yeah.
will make an adjustment.
Right. Exactly.
That's the way it works.
Okay, so let's tell everybody. Let's get to the topic of why I call Christy a comrade, so people aren't like, "What the heck was
It
that
had
about?"
nothing to do with economics.
Had nothing to do
Right.
with
As
No.
much as you
economics.
might think,
Right,
it had nothing to do with
exactly. It
economics.
didn't. Disney released today that they are going to be doing some enhancements to the castle at
Yes.
Cinderella's castle at Walt Disney World, and so that
So,
got us
so
talking.
sorry, before you
Go
go
ahead.
too much further, I just have one question.
Yeah.
Are you guys in the middle of having a poltergeist or something?
I don't know what is going on. It's
Because-
freaking me out.
What is it?
Because our friends that are watching on YouTube are going to be wondering what the heck is going on in your house right
I
now.
know.
The
What
lights
happened?
keep flickering, like up and down, up and
Oh,
down, up
Flickering
and down.
off and on. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's our camera or what's going on.
Like the
'cause
way
I-
it's picking them up or
occasionally-
something.
right,
Yep.
because occasionally I'll look up and around, and I'm like, okay, it's
haven't
not
noticed 'em.
flickering in here, but the
But
screen
it's
that I
definitely
can
on the
see,
screen. Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Well,
Whoa.
Right.
To our YouTube friends, that's what's
Sorry.
happening there. Something going on with
Yeah.
your camera,
About that.
but
If you
Yeah.
see the hitchhiking ghost,
It's
you know,
the camera
ride
because
with
I
us.
can't see the camera because of my
Yep.
limited vision, but I can tell the lights.
can
are not
tell.
doing-
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because you're wearing a white shirt tonight.
Could be, yeah. Could
Could be
Oh, I didn't think
the
about
white
that.
on the shirt.
the contrast. Yeah.
Yeah, which
be.
by the way, I have on the old logo shirt. I just
Yeah.
realized that.
Oh,
That's all right.
contraband! Look at
What
that.
is that?
That's all right.
Elicits things on
I
it.
know. How dare I, right?
So anyway, pull up that picture.
Okay, so it got us talking about
So, Comrade Christie.
how.
Yep.
Yes.
you got to understand. Well,
Right.
we were talking about the
We're talking about the magic
reskinning of the
and
castle.
like what are they going to do to it? And I'm like, God, I hope they don't do what they did for the 25th birthday of Magic Kingdom, which was turn it into a birthday cake. So we're going to show a picture so our friends on YouTube can see it. Now, if you just glance at this and imagine that you have Kyle's visual impairment, he's like, that kind of looks like the Kremlin.
It really does.
It
I mean,
really
it's
does. I'll
it's
do
a little more colorful, although the Kremlin's pretty
right.
colorful, but
It is,
Yeah.
and it lacks
But-
the tulip things
Yeah.
at the top.
Right.
Right.
And it doesn't have, I mean, the Kremlin doesn't have, stacked up lifesavers
Well,
like
no,
this
I mean,
does. And,
just cross your eyes
right.
really
But if
hard.
you
and
cross your eyes and look at it, that's
So-
where the whole comrade
blurry
thing
vision,
came from.
so
speaking.
so for the people that don't know, for the 25th anniversary, Disney World basically turned Cinderella's castle into a birthday cake.
Yeah.
Which, in theory and on paper, I'm sure sounded like a wonderful idea. In practice, people were horribly, horribly disturbed by what ended
Right.
up
to say
happening
the
and
least,
shocked.
yeah.
And so, but we know that they are in the middle of, or about to be in the middle
Mhm.
of doing something, most likely for the 50th.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So they're going to be adding some accoutrements to it.
They call it a royal makeover.
Mm,
It's inspired a bold, shimmering, and royal makeover of the namesake castle in the heart of Walt Disney World. Take a look at the concept image from the newly enhanced Cinderella's castle will look like once the work is completed. Okay, I'm looking
so
at
there
it.
is actually an image.
Okay,
Okay.
so
So they've been doing a lot of
Maybe
work
not seeing
around.
much.
They've been doing a ton of work down by the moat and all that other stuff already.
Yeah.
Like they've been working on that because I think they're adding new lights and projections and stuff. So I know they've been doing that for, geez, at least a year, if not longer now.
So I'm going to show you the picture with the
Okay.
enhancements. Here, let me let Paul see it first.
Nice.
So you see a difference?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, well, I don't see a
Let me see.
difference.
And that's with my poor vision, but I can tell colors and things, especially
Do you see a
It
difference?
looks pinkish and more
tower-
gold.
more
Yeah,
I
the
guess
royal
it
blue,
looks
towers
more-
are
royal blue.
just
More gold.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
guess more
I mean, that's-
blingy.
that seems classic.
Yeah.
That's
See,
nice.
I-
Yes,
it
they
just-
definitely
Royal
they
blue.
didn't overstate
Yeah.
it.
No.
This is gold up here.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. I just saw. Okay. So behind
Is there a
the
before and after?
No,
Mhm.
there's not. But I
No.
think this is new. Look, there's chevron blue painting back here.
Yeah.
And then there's
In the roof.
crisscross
Okay.
hatch patterns.
Mhm.
So if you look right above where the
Yeah.
clock
We're
is,
gonna dissect this.
There's
Yeah,
like a
actually,
hatch-
that's pretty cool.
yeah,
yeah,
and
I
then
like
right
that.
here above that one,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
chevron
Yeah,
painting. So
Yeah,
for the
so they
people
definitely
that can't
did-
see,
yeah. They did some work to it.
they did some work to it, but it's not garish.
No.
Oh, and this one has polka dots. One of the spires has polka dots, and then another
Yeah,
one
so
has
they're
stripes.
they're touching it up all over the place to kind of it gives it a little more of a little fantasy feel to it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah,
Got
So-
more finish.
right.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if they'll actually end up leaving most of that.
I think they probably will because
Yeah.
I mean it looks really nice to me. It's
yeah,
Yeah.
how would you take that off? Like,
Yeah.
I don't. To me, it's just
it looks
like
more
what's
finished.
there, but they've just
Yeah,
done a
just
fresh coat of
enhanced
paint.
it. Yeah, just plus
In
it.
makeup terms,
There
they
you go.
add a
Plus
little
it. They plussed
highlighter
it.
to it.
Little highlighter.
They added a little highlighter here and there on the
Somebody's
castles.
been watching too many YouTube videos.
No. So anyway, so that's kind of cool, and it says that they're going to be continuing, to make updates. But I think they're having to cancel some. The reason why they came out with it is they're having to cancel some of the midday things going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the friendship fair
Yeah.
and
You got guys hanging in harnesses off the painters and with buckets of paint and stuff hanging off the side
Right,
of the building.
exactly.
Kind of detracts from.
it does.
Yeah.
But
I don't
anyway,
know. I wish we went back to the days when they did all their work at night, but that's a topic for another podcast, a long ways
Mhm.
away.
I agree with that completely. Like poor Epcot. Have you seen any videos of Epcot lately?
Not recently, but I
Oh,
know the
God.
last time we were there, it was already
Yeah.
starting to get a little beat up. So
So
It's
now
like-
there's just
Like
only
walking down a New York City street, man. It's like
Yeah.
there's
Just
construction
construction
going on everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah, and like you're walking underneath,
yeah,
tarps and
all that
just
kind
I
of
mean
stuff.
it's
There's like
it's going to be awesome when it's done, though.
oh, no doubt.
Like,
Oh,
I can't
yeah.
wait to see it
It's-
when they revamp everything because it's
Right.
needed it for a long time. So it's going
Yeah.
to be fantastic.
It's
It
banged
is.
up pretty bad right now, though.
yeah, it was like golly, it needs. I hate to send anybody there, but it's still got definitely things that
Oh,
you
there's
need
still
to
a ton of
visit.
stuff,
Right.
great stuff to do.
No
Mhm.
doubt.
So
Absolutely. All right.
All right.
Well, I think that wraps it up for this week.
I think so.
Okay, so how about for our listeners, you hop over to Instagram or Twitter or our Facebook page and just say hi and let us know what you thought of this episode. Maybe send Christy a Goodwill message. That would absolutely make her day.
Is that like a get well message? But
What did
with
I say?
Goodwill?
Did I say Goodwill?
I don't know. What
Good.
I
Goodwill.
thought I said
Goodwill.
Goodwill.
Oh, get well. Yeah. Get well message.
I'm gonna catch hell for that.
Yeah. You
Yep.
will. Mhm. Yep. Anyway, and why don't you share us with your friends? Let your friends know about us. If you got somebody that's thinking about going to Disney, hook them up with our podcast. So anyway,
That
That'll
would
be
be
it.
great. We would appreciate it.
absolutely.
Indeed.
And we would really like it if you could go on iTunes and leave us a review. That would be fantastic. The more reviews that we get, the better off we are as far as iTunes finding us. When you go and search for a Disney podcast,
Yep.
we
get
might actually
featured.
show up. Yeah, or get a feature.
Get featured in our category would be awesome.
That would be. So
Yep.
leave us a review. And we'll take whatever you got. That's fine.
Good or
If you don't
bad.
like us, good or bad. Although if you don't like us, why are you still listening? Anyway. All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Safe travels, everyone.
Bye, everybody.